All right, so good morning, people. I'm actually going to review March 19th and March 18th options mornings. They were both super quick green mornings. Uh, there's no need to, you know, review them individually because they're just such short mornings. I mean, yesterday I literally traded for 15 minutes. It was great. This morning I traded for like 20. So it was great as well. However, because both mornings were short, I'm going to throw them both into one review. I'm going to keep this review pretty quick. And then after this review, I'm going to post it on YouTube. I will let you guys know when it's posted, as always. And then I'm going to be radio silent until the psych lesson after market close today. We're just going to be reviewing one together um, because I am trying my best to race against the clock to have the future strategy ready for our session tomorrow, and I am not recording it, so don't miss it. Anyways, let's jump to yesterday's market open. I don't know why I did that. Yesterday's market open was here. All right. Now let me pull up my options channel from yesterday. By the way, yesterday I need some context. I was very tired this morning. Yesterday morning. I was so tired. I just did not sleep that night. I had stuff going on late at night that did not allow me to sleep well. Um, so yeah, there was that. But anyways, as far as the morning analysis goes, the pre-market analysis, and my Wi-Fi seems like it's a little bit slow with this loading, so bear with me. I didn't really have anything. We kind of had a falling wedge here, kind of. Wasn't super bullish on it. I mean, it's barely a falling wedge. There's like another one right here. So it's possible if it goes up, I'll trade calls. But really, as far as like pivots go, my nearest major pivot is here on the NASDAQ. 835 is what I want on the NASDAQ, as shown right there. And yeah, so this is the sentiment. And as you can see on NQ's chart, it doesn't even look remotely like a falling wedge. We had a big move up to supply. We even validated most of the move. I'm bearish to here. And then if somehow we drop below that, I mean, these pivots are really close together. So I would be bearish to 19,757. And as far as ES goes, ES is a lot stronger than NQ, so I'm not even worrying about PTs. We have some bullish pivots here. I mean, this is a perfect double top here, so I did keep that in mind. But overall, my sentiment was very mildly bearish, and that's why I said in my alert, I said no major sentiment this morning besides my nearest PT is 19,835 on NQ, so mildly bearish for that. Now, if we come to the 1 minute time frame, you can see that ES is like trying to put in a double bottom, which could also be bearish consolidation. NQ, however, is making lower lows. But if we get up to here on ES, I will take longs for this trend line break here. I don't actually want to draw the trend line. If ES invalidates this, I will have to be in shorts immediately. And the reason I'd have to be in puts immediately is because if ES gets to here, I am very bearish for ES to take out pre-market low and probably head at least to this demand cluster. That means by the time I enter, which I'm going to have to enter QQQ puts because it's weaker, assuming that's going to stay that way at market open, it's already going to be here. And that is pretty damn close to this PT, so I'm going to have to be in. And that's what I say initially. So let me just delete all this. So that's kind of the plan going into market open. First candle on market opens, and I am in there like underwear. I didn't fill at the bottom of this candle. I filled when this, where I just said, right there, when the green candle validated. Now keep in mind, I'm usually not a fan of entering on the market open candle. I'm really not a fan of that. But I have no choice. The pivot is that close. It is a major pivot. The pre-market analysis is mildly bearish. I kind of have to do it. All right, so I filled it full size. Hard stop loss if we invalidate this entire red candle. So that is the game plan. And kind of immediately we start bouncing. I'm thinking I'm going to stop out, especially here, because now ES has made a lower low in demand. But we didn't, and then we start dumping. Now, I don't sell because this is a bearish candle. ES is kind of putting in a buying wick, but now I'm starting to think, you know, ES may be going for these pivots down here. What was this one at? I cannot see. 56.96.50. That's what it was. Also, on top of it, there was a perfect double bottom here. Boom. So I'm still bearish. ES got a perfect double bottom. NQ hasn't even hit the next demand. And given this trend here, I'm expecting, like, this is a strong demand. I mean, we have 3 zones overlapping, a 2-hour, a 3-hour, and a 40, actually 5 zones overlapping, a 45-minute and a 30-minute. But given the size of this trend and the pivots below it, look how major these pivots are, especially because this nearer pivot didn't make a lower low. I'm thinking we're going to break this demand. Maybe we dead cat bounce, but we're going to break this demand. So I don't really sell anything. I trimmed like 2 of my KQQ puts just out of principle. But really, I don't sell anything because ES is perfect double bottom. I want the next demand. Well, we get there, and now I trim a bunch. So at this point, QQQ puts were up like 50-ish percent. It was pretty good. It looked like ES was flipping weaker now. But my big PT for ES, and I'm reading off my channel here, is 5683.75 break, which is down here, which, never mind, I read that message too soon. I sent that message out at 6:38, and it is currently 6:36. So wait. There we go. So now I did trim a little more than half my position, but now I really can't sell because it looks like this demand's going to break on NQ. It looks like ES flipped weaker. As you can see here, the size of this red candle is much more than the size of this red candle on NQ. And ES is a smaller buying wick. On top of that, we have another perfect double bottom. I cannot sell. Not only that, I have another major pivot here. It's not the most major pivot, but it is pretty major. I mean, this is a huge turnaround point. Look at this explosion that happened from here. So it's a solid pivot. And the demand itself is only a 30-minute demand down here. Yeah, it's only a 30-minute demand right here. So this demand isn't very strong. So I really can't sell, and I'm really looking for this here. 757 to break on NQ. We swept the lower low. I am still bearish, though. Keep in mind, I'm very trimmed on my KQQ puts, but I'm not out. And if we bounce, I am re-entering. If we bounce and invalidate the bounce, I'm re-entering. And I say that message on this candle. I said at 6:38, which if my Wi-Fi will load this chart, you'll see that this is 6:38 here. At 6:38, I send QQQ puts, got 1.4 for 77% gains. It looks like ES is weaker now. My big PT for ES is 5683.75, which is all, I forgot, it's also a perfect double bottom. Not a huge one, but it is one, as you can see here. Just adds a little bit of spice to that PT. And we have another pivot way down there that I didn't trade for. I'll just mark it out because I think I end up getting there anyways. So this PT is also a perfect double bottom. And demand is fairly weak. So I say perfect double bottom. I'm very trimmed, but I'll re-enter if we bounce and invalidate the bounce. And then the next candle, about 20 seconds in, now more like 30-ish seconds in, I fill SPX puts. The bounce already invalidated. However, I did have to enter half size because it, because I wanted a bigger bounce. I didn't expect to enter there. It's too risky. Right, my stop loss is too far away. And really, if we get this pivot, I'm going to be looking for the next demand. But I did fill my SPX 5570 puts at 3.2 there. And I did add a little bit of KikiQ puts, but that was just like a personal trade. There's PT hit. So that was very nice. And my next PT is all the way down here at 5667. Is my tripping or is this chart different? Oh, no, it's not. Wait. Oh, yeah, the screenshot. Hang on. When did I fill this? Did I fill this higher? No, I filled this right here. And then my stop loss is roughly here, and this was my PT. So I got confused. I was looking at the screenshot, and this was a full candle, but I realized I took the screenshot right as I sold. So I dumped everything here. Everything, dumped the rest of it. Was happy with my green. I got 28% on SPX puts and 100% on KikiQ puts. Looking back on it, I didn't really need to dump all of it right at that PT. I've only been trading for 11 candles at this point. Or that's my cent. I think it was 10. Yeah, 10 candles. I was only trading for 10 candles. 10 minutes. And I was done. 100% on KikiQ puts. 28% on SPX puts. Keep in mind I did re-add a little bit of KikiQ puts there. But that was my morning. I just cut it. I just stopped there. If I continued, it was a really good sell. I mean, it did bounce, but I don't know what happened here. The market just puked itself. I don't know. There wasn't news or anything. So it would have been pretty cool if I held it, but I did not. And ES did end up getting to the next pivot. So even though I made a bunch of money and caught, I mean, I was literally in puts from market open. I entered on the very first candle of market open. So I caught a lot of it. It continued going down. So left some money on the table there, but don't really care. My PT's hit. I don't even think I really charted this pivot down here. Maybe I did. I don't know. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. I did chart that. But it did end up getting the demand as well, which is pretty cool. Not here, though. I got it a little bit later. But that was my day yesterday. So 100% on KikiQ puts, 28% on SPX puts. And keep in mind, my percent was a little bit less, but I don't actually have it. So you can see my percents on Thinkorswim. I just see dollars, so I just roughly calculate it. Technically, my percent was less because I averaged up on KikiQ puts, but I made more money. But who really cares, you know, as long as you're green. Does anyone have any questions regarding this first day of trading? If your chart looks different, you should have B-ADJ on. You need to have this button on. Adjust for contract changes. Anyways, that brings me to this morning's trading. So this morning, it's an FOMC day. Keep in mind, I completely forgot it was FOMC day. Normally, I would be a lot more cautious. But here was my pre-market analysis, and I sent this a little bit before. I sent it like a few minutes before market open, and what I said was, all right, on the big time frames, we're in a huge bear flag, which is bearish. However, this is extremely temporarily bullish. Like, look at this chart. Look how much we are testing this resistance here. This overnight high that we have. I say the bear flag is technically bearish, but I'm very bullish for the overnight high to break. So I would love to trade it. I didn't get to trade it because my Thinkorswim didn't work. I had to re-log in, and it broke it immediately, like right at market open. So I didn't even have a chance. So there it goes. That TA is out of there. And I'm not really bearish for the bear flag. I mean, it just seems a lot more bullish. This looks like a very fractal cup and handle to me. I won't actually start considering a bear flag break until we get all the way down to here. Right? I'm not actually thinking about it. Look how many demand zones there are. There's a million demand zones here, so I'm not actually thinking about it. But if we get down to here, then I'll play. That'll be good. And I'm kind of... if the market stays up, I kind of want to take an FOMC gamble today because we have a lot of pivots down here, guys. And some of these are damn near close to perfect double bottoms, like this one, for example. I think this is very likely to break during FOMC. Look how we barely, it's kind of hard to see, but NQ is the same way. We barely missed this level. Same thing on NQ, right here. So I'm thinking FOMC it breaks. By the way, and not yesterday, but the day before's review, Monday's review, um, I actually perfectly predicted what was going to happen on Monday. I said it would be really cool if it dropped and then went all the way back up later in the day. If you guys actually paid attention and watched that review, and then you go back and see what actually ended up happening on Monday, we predicted it flawlessly, like it was a work of art. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not that bearish for the bear flag. I will if we drop a bunch, but I don't actually expect that. So we have a potential pivot sweep. ES is possible reversal candle. Obviously, we have a volume spike from market open. I fill SPX puts here. This is a confirmed bearish liquidity sweep. ES is clearly weaker than NQ, and NQ has higher highs with selling wicks. I am bearish to demand. I stop loss if this red candle invalidates. Stop loss. I stopped out in about 45 seconds. It was a very small loss, though. I entered at, I think it was 2.55. Let me check. Yeah, I filled at 2.55. I sold at 2.25. So very small loss, barely 10%. And I was out the second the sweep invalidated because I'm thinking we can totally break to the upside from this bear flag. That's what I'm thinking. So I go back to waiting, take one small loss in the beginning, very small red on the day. ES looks like now it's stronger than NQ. That's important. Keep that in mind. And then we sweep again. I'm back in puts. One more attempt, but this time in QQQ puts. And right before this, on this candle here, before this drop, I actually told you guys if it comes back down, I'll be back in puts, and I'm watching QQQ puts now instead. Like, I literally breastfed you guys this morning with that. Could not have had better hand holding. Sure enough, right when it came down like clockwork, I was in puts. I filled them roughly here. It was close enough to candle closes like in the last 10 seconds or just hit it. Same trade if the red candle invalidates, I am out. I filled them at 65 cents. The next candle was green, so it did drop below my entry. So you guys were able to fill it like 62 cents and 63 cents. And I actually said in my channel the calls aren't moving much for how much it dropped, but I meant puts. Anyways, we start dropping. This is when I kind of noticed, the options aren't moving very well. The options aren't moving much. I was red on this candle. I was break even on this red candle here, even though on futures I would be up, 50 ticks. So that was interesting to me. That's when I kind of got wind of, you know what, this is kind of weird. ES looks bullish for a new high of day, but luckily NQ is weaker, so I get to wait. Get a big drop. I will sell when ES hits demand. NQ got demand. I did take trims there, but now I'm looking for ES demand. And the second ES gets demand, I'm out. Boom, it got it, I'm out. There we go. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't really bearish for this level down here until we got underneath this pivot. And to be honest, I didn't even really think about this pivot too much. I was just so caught up with ES getting to demand. I sold almost all of it here. I did keep 2 runner contracts only because, I have this pivot just below on NQ. And ES didn't even sweep a lower low yet, or it didn't sweep this one. So I'm thinking it could go a little bit further. But really, if I'm going to start playing for this blue line and this bear flag break, I need it to drop down here. So that's not a question. So I sell most of it. It was a beautiful gain. I mean, 40% is what I got on it. 41%. We bounced. I was out the last bit. Barely missed this pivot. I guess this is another one that's a really good mark. I'm going to mark this for the future. I'm thinking FOMC is going to drop, guys. With all these beautiful pivots, I'm thinking we're going to drop. So I was out the last bit here. And there's one trade. I was thinking about stop trading, but I'm like, I'll hang out. It started bouncing really, really, really nice. And I filled calls on this candle. Same, this is liquidity analysis. Most of the move invalidated. Look like ES is continuing to be strong. I filled these calls right here, and I am looking for I'm not only trying to scalp for ES new high of day, I was looking for NQ new high of day as well. So I said PT is ES new high of day, then NQ new high of day. And then the SPX puts were the 57.15 call. Sorry, the SPX calls were the 57.15 calls at 2.65. So when he has got it, I trimmed a little bit for like plus 10-ish% gains. During this candle, I started noticing something was up. At the start of this candle, you guys were able to get a better average than I was because they were chopping so much. But NQ was a lot weaker than ES, and we were putting in this bullpen. So I decided to kind of weather the storm and wait. We did break to the upside, and we did get new high of day. Boom. I did sell the rest here besides one runner, and I regret holding that runner because these calls, I was only able to sell them at 3.35, which is kind of BS because this was a really big move. That's like 26% gains, 25, 26% gains. And this move was bigger than the NQ drop, pretty much. It was like the same size. So that was a scam. And then at the close, when this huge green candle closed, the call premiums came all the way back down to where they were at here. It went all the way back down to like 2.85. Or like 2.7 or something. I'm like, this is a freaking scam. So I sold the rest and stopped trading there. And then I realized, oh yeah, it's FOMC. So the premiums are super choppy. And that was my day. So one really small red trade, two good green trades, and that's calling it. Yesterday was nothing but green trades for 10 minutes. Today was only 24 minutes of trading. So between the last 2 days, we cleared like 200% and some change in profits in only 34 minutes of trading. So it's pretty good. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions regarding any of the TA or trades that I've taken? Looks like the market is moving. Did we get to supply? We did get to supply. Oh, no questions? Everyone's good? We have a couple people typing. Look at the trend line retest on ES. That's beautiful. Look at the supply rejection. I'm telling you guys, this indicator is fantastic. I don't advertise it. I'm too busy making money trading to worry about getting customers. Like, I don't really, to me, that's like it's just too much work for, like, I don't even care. I'm not gonna beg people to make money. I'm not gonna beg people to buy things to help them make money. It's just not my style. Plenty of people do it though. Plenty of servers and people that own indicators do it, but I do not give this indicator enough credit because it is really good. The demand bounces this morning were flawless, and then you had two flawless supply rejections, three if you count this one as well. Looks very nice, but we do have some pivots above, so I'm thinking we crack this supply. As for FOMC, I was leaning bearish for FOMC. We can see you can move a lot, but now we've invalidated most of this drop. It can go all the way up to here. I do need to run FOMC analysis real quick over the last 5 months. I have a rule that says no trading my future strategy on FOMC days. It's probably going to be the same. Probably not going to take the trade, but I'm going to document it. Alex said, can you repeat what you said you're looking for if you're going to trade FOMC? All I said was just lower risk, right? Smaller size, less trades. JB says, if I may ask, why did you wait for ES to reach down to a level to determine when to close out NQ and not use the QQQ chart or because the QQQ, the QQQ chart freaking sucks. It's a pain in the ass. SPY and QQQ chart suck. Like, for example, I'll just do the 5-minute ES. And we'll compare it to the 5-minute SPY. Look how shitty this is. You have no context. You have zero context at market open. And if I'm going to trade market open, you want context. Look how terrible this chart is. Like I barely have any of the overnight pivots. I'm not even able to see this bear flag that's here. And if we really, if I go to market open, like where's this level that I had? Like where's this very important level that dictated my initial bullish bias? It's not there. Don't use these terrible charts. If you're trading the open, do not use SPY and QQQ charts. They are a waste of time. The only good thing about the SPY and QQQ charts is the volume spikes. If you're trading supply and demand, the volume spikes are more, there's just better volume to read if you're looking for volume divergences. But aside from that, it's a waste. It's a waste of time. The charts move the same, and it's just worse in every way. You're just trading with way less context. Don't do it. I trade based on the NQ chart and the ES chart, and if NQ hits a PT, but I'm also really bearish for ES to hit a PT, that's a reason for me to hold the trade. It's just an extra layer of analysis. I don't just base my trade off of one chart. Strength and weakness analysis is very important. Watch that strength and weakness analysis lesson if you haven't, JB. It'll explain all that. But yeah, like you don't have these levels. And if I look at the QQQ chart, like if you want to trade pivots and liquidity analysis effectively, forget about it if you're using SPX and QQQ. Like you're done. Um, but if you're trading Tesla, Apple, and regular stocks, strength and weakness analysis will be your main analysis type. It's fantastic. Strength and weakness analysis with supply and demand, nothing can beat it. But here's NQ, nothing. I got none of these levels, none of these contexts. I don't have this nice pivot here. I don't have anything. I just have really shitty low volume candles that look like someone sprinkled pepper all over my screen. So don't do it. Highly, super, super, super important. If you're trading the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ for options, just use the futures charts, ES and NQ. It's so much better. You're going to have all that overnight context. And keep in mind, you need the overnight context to trade the S&P 500 NASDAQ because Germany isn't trading Costco and they aren't trading most American companies, right? Same thing with Asia. Like, yeah, they'll trade Apple and Tesla a little bit, but you're not going to see the major institutional orders that form supply and demand zones and form these major pivots on American stocks. You are going to see it on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq because every major country in the world trades the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, but really the S&P 500. So there are major institutions on the other side of the world placing major orders and major positions that create supply and demand zones and pivots overnight on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq that you need to know when you trade the open. But for other stocks, you don't need that because other countries aren't trading them. That's another reason. Context is a very big thing. Does that make sense? Highly recommend you make the change. Don't look at the QQQ and SPY charts. You gotta level up. It now, if you're not trading the open, then it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But if you are trading the open, like the first 30 minutes to an hour, your pre-market analysis is everything, and you have no major pre-market analysis on the SPY and QQQ charts. Yeah. QQQ and SPY, don't ever look at them again. I have not looked at the SPY and QQQ chart in since 2022, like early 2022. Not even then. 2021, I'd say. You guys should be able to. You get my options channel in this server is so old that you can literally scroll back to like 2021 and see when I was trading a million stocks. I still wasn't. I was trading. I was looking at the SPY chart for strength and weakness analysis early 2021, and then mid 2021, I believe I finally moved to ES and NQ. If you guys are ever bored, you can go on my options channel and scroll back, 4 years, and it's still there. Actually, let's do that real quick. And this review's over, so I'll leave the recording going in case anyone's just curious. But let's see. I'm gonna put this over the recording. And I'm going to switch screens. But that was a great question, JB. Thank you for asking that. Because a lot of people are the same way, and that's something I haven't talked about in a while. So thank you for asking that. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because you're literally handicapping yourself by trading, charting on SPY and QQQ. Just don't do it. Okay, how should I do? Wait, hang on. I got to share my screen again. Give me 1 second. All right, there you guys go. All right. In before. Here we go. See how far back we can actually go. Because the server actually got nuked a while ago. Early 2021, this server got nuked in April of 2021, and all the channels were remade. So I think I can actually go back to maybe July 2021. Let's see. Yeah, and that was before. It was like August of 2021. My Discord account got hacked. Learned that lesson the hard way. So I'm old one. And this one, I still did a lot of my analysis on my Thinkorswim. My Thinkorswim pretty much looks the exact same, except I don't have these indicators down here anymore because I don't use them anymore. Look how beautiful. So this is when I was trading SPY. I didn't make the change to SPX yet because I wasn't as smart as I am now with taxes. And this was before you could just copy and paste screenshots from TradingView. So you had to copy the link. But this was good. I traded so many different stocks. GameStop, what a time. GameStop was such a what a time to be a trader. And I always use these rainbow lines to separate my alerts because I did that for years. The rainbow lines to separate my alerts. Um, because it would just look like a ton of clutter. I didn't send as many screenshots because you couldn't. You had to copy the link. TradingView didn't have the copy chart, but ever since it got the copy chart button, now I can just spam screenshots and it takes zero time whatsoever. So that's why you don't see those rainbow lines anymore. Um, I made so much money on Lucid and Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic was like I freaking loved trading that stock. Such a good time. I traded Tesla every single day. That was when Tesla had the by far the biggest options volume. Trading Tesla was so much more profitable than trading the indices. But this was also, I traded all these and Palantir. This was before Palantir took its big dip. I was trading Palantir before it dropped to $7. Um, you know what? Hang on. Go back here. 21. Hang on. I'm about to show you guys something legendary. Look at this alert. Look at it. Everyone look at it. Just got a call Liam this AM. Buying every single Palantir dip under $9, accumulating for the long term. Most of the server had Palantir with an average of around $8. Some people had an average. My average was pretty much like $8.30. Um, good stuff. Let's take a look at Palantir real quick, just for fun. Let me switch my screen share. Let's just look at Palantir real quick. If my Discord stops lagging. My Discord's lagging. Oh, wait. I need to make the tab way smaller. There we go. Didn't hold this one quite long enough, but it did get a very, very large return. We literally bought so much of it in 2022. Late 2022 is when we were buying Palantir. I forgot that it dipped all the way to $5. I stopped paying attention to it for a while. Then I started paying attention to it when it started going ballistic, like here-ish, beginning of 2024. Good stuff. Good stuff. Maybe we'll go back to that again, but I've been focusing on different skills that make me more money. So, anyways, does anyone have any comments, questions, anything? What made you buy Palantir? My genius friend told me to buy it. That's literally the reason. He gave me all the analysis, but I didn't care. My genius friend, who's way more genius than I am, um, told me to throw all my savings in Palantir, and as well as everyone else in the server. And he had 1 million shares himself, in his personal account. I'm like, okay. He had a bunch of reasons, but I don't really care what the reasons are. Like, he's a lot smarter than I am, so. Yeah, he had over 1 million shares. He bought maybe 1 to 2 million shares of Palantir. So if he's putting up 10 million bucks, then you know what do I need to know? Anyways, I will see you guys later. I'll let you guys know when this is posted. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be radio silent because I gotta work on the strategy for tomorrow's thing. I'm not recording it, so don't miss it. All right, I will see you guys later.